I'm recording you.
I see that. Did you put her to sleep?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Good. She had such a great birthday.
She did.
You're such a great dad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not done passing out gifts either.
A gift for me? Vernon, you didn't have to do that. It's not my birthday.
You're such a great mom.
Oh, thank you.
I had to.
It's heavy. Ooh, I'm excited.
You're gonna love it.
What is it?
Open it up.
Oh my God, you are such an amazing man, I tell you.
Open it up, baby.
Is it Valentine's Day all over again? Oh my God. Ooh, it's that kind of night, ain't it? My favorite wine?
You're gonna love it. It goes with the gift.
Ooh, Pinot Noir. Mwah. I can't wait to sip on this. Thank you, babe. Oh, here we go, here we go. I'm excited. It better be the necklace I wanted. You know I've been wanting that for a long time. Another bag. You're so tricky, I tell you. Babe, really? Another bag? I can't with you and your foolishness. Oh my God. You are one silly man, I tell you.
Open it up.
Oh my God, what is this? Oh man. Duct tape, really?
They ran out.
You're such an amazing rapper.
They ran out. I'm sorry.
An envelope? What could this be? What could this be? It's not shaking. It's not my necklace, I don't think. Let's open this up. Ooh, it feels kind of thick. Okay, hold on. It may be. Maybe. Pape? This better be a ticket to Dubai for 2 weeks straight, round trip. Because you know I've been wanting to go to Dubai.
Open it up. Yeah, read it.
What is this?
You know what it is? I just want you to know that I know. Nevaeh is not mine. She's not my daughter.
Why did you do this tonight out of all nights? Why?
Because I wanted you to know that I know Nevaeh is not mine. I've had doubts.
What
So I
doubts?
went that DNA test. Nevaeh is not mine. She's not my daughter.
Why would you do this? She loves you though. Why would you do this?
She's not my daughter. Why would you do this? Why would you cheat?
I didn't cheat.
Why would you cheat on me?
I didn't.
That's proof right there. DNA test. Nevaeh is not my daughter.
But babe, really? Out of all days, you had 3 years to give this to me. Now you want to give this to me?
All right, well, listen. You and Nevaeh got to the end of the month to get out of my house.
You're kidding, right?
I'm not kidding.
But that's your
and
daughter.
your daughter had to the end of the month to get out of my house.
But that's
Kelly.
your daughter.
It's not my daughter, Kelly.
Yes, it is.
The paperwork says it's not my daughter.
Why would you do this?
I am not the father.
No. Stop, babe. Can we just talk? Get the camera out my face. Can we just talk? Get it out.
What's good, y'all? Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. You know what it is. I thought I would give a short piece today, but I couldn't miss the opportunity to say a few quick little things about this, so I'm not going to hold y'all long. This video is incredibly impactful for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons I show it, however, is because often what I will hear responses from, in terms of other black women, is that, well, this is your fault. These are the kind of women you chose. And I'll even hear them say things like, you shouldn't have chose, hood chicks. But as you can, tell from listening to her, this is not a quote unquote hood chick. And I detest that kind of language in general, because I think it really, imposes these false notions of some type of superiority because somebody may come from a background with a little more cash. But at the end of the day, we've seen this kind of behavior come from women all stripes. I've seen it with women with doctorates, with master's degrees, all of that. It doesn't matter. False paternity issues are serious, and there is no pushback. There's no punishment for women who do this. For whether it's false paternity or false rape accusations, there's no pushback. And I think there should be. In the midst of us having conversations about a black male agenda, I very much think that situations like this should be dealt with seriously. There shouldn't be any child support, for especially, for someone who's not the biological father and has been misled in that manner. But if there have been child support payments that have been made, even if over years, they should be reimbursed. But we don't have those conversations because black men have not begun to have conversations about a black male, black male agenda outside of what's discussed as a black agenda. And the black agenda doesn't often include issues that are pertinent to black males. So, I think that there's some importance here in getting us to understand that this brother may still be hit up with child support for a child who isn't his, even if his name, especially if his name's on the birth certificate. There's no punishment whatsoever for her having lied about this, over time and whatnot. So that's the first thing. The second reason I post this is because I want to give brothers a healthier alternative to express their anger and rage if they find themselves in a situation like this. Because obviously, if you just go off, even if it's just verbal and you get loud, those things get used against you later, right? God forbid it gets physical. You're the one that ends up going to jail, and everybody just kind of stands around and begins to admonish you for your anger. And I've been talking about this for the last few weeks. In some of my Facebook posts, I've noticed that, you'll see feminists come in there and they're more angry at the tone of black men's frustration than they are at the actual issue that sparked the frustration. Right? Even in the comment sections that on the original post, the comments from women are that he should just stay with her because it's convenient for the child. You know what I mean? So again, any expression of rage or frustration is dismissed. And the answer from these women is always do whatever is, the easiest, whatever is the path of least resistance for her. Whatever suits her is ultimately what you need to do, even if she's way out of line. Right? So that kind of thing is highly frustrating, the degree to which men are not understood, not listened to, and then told to shut up, swallow it, and do whatever makes her feel better, whether it's the woman or the daughter, and live that. And I have a good close friend of mine. He and I have been friends for a long time. And he found out, some years ago that his child wasn't his, and he didn't have the heart to push through with the DNA test because of how much that meant, his child meant to him. But it broke my heart to hear. It broke my heart to hear, my heart for him. And there was, he didn't know how to process it. But part of the reason he didn't know how to process it is black men have not really been allowed to have this conversation publicly. And it needs to happen. Because at the end of the day, if there's going to be any reconciliation within the black community over the goings-ons of the last 50 years, there needs to be an airing out. There needs to be an address of grievances, as BGS once put it. And there also needs to be some, not only some acknowledgement behind it, but some steps toward what we're going to do to establish relationships in a whole different way. Or we don't. But we're not going to sweep this under the rug. If we're going to move forward, whether we're talking about individual couples or on a macrocosmic level, there needs to be some mass dialogue. Because here's the thing. Women have had mass dialogues. They've had international platforms to voice their frustrations with black men. And they've done it in such a manner that if you're not in the black community experiencing these things, and sometimes it doesn't matter if you are in it, you may still walk away thinking of black men as the only people that have advanced some kind of frustration for the other gender to deal with. But there hasn't been a stage provided outside of YouTube for black men to actually say, wait a minute, that's only half the story. And as my grandmother used to say, there's three parts to the story: his, hers, and the truth. Well, we've only heard hers for the last 50 years. And when black men start to voice theirs, what we hear from feminists, most particularly black feminists, is you need to just shut up. You need to be quiet. And we need to go back to the rhetoric of what black feminists have been saying. But we don't have to look at the data, and we damn sure don't have to listen to the stories that you have to tell that don't suit us and put us in the light we want to be held in. Right? So that kind of thing needs to be understood and put in context. So again, I show this video to also give brothers a healthier alternative from just expressing yourself. Because the thing about it is everybody else can express themselves emotionally, but black men expressing themselves emotionally can end up with you doing, lifetimes in prison. And in my opinion, you're justified in your rage, but it's not worth you going to jail for. So I'm offering this as a submission toward another way of handling it. Because there's a lot going on right now that nobody wants to talk about. And we will be dealing soon with the woman who rammed her car into her baby daddy and his car and killed their daughter. Right? But how much national discussion is going on about that? And part of the reason that it's not is we don't have a clear-cut archetype for negative female behavior. We don't. But for men, we do. Because if that was a man who rammed his car into his daughter, his baby mama's car, and killed his daughter, deadbeat dad, murderously, a pookie. We have all of these different terms and concepts in place to understand problematic black men. But when it comes to problematic women across race, we don't know how to process it. And we damn sure don't know how to sentence it. Because we know 63% black women receive sentences that are 63% less than men for the same crimes, because we don't know how to deal with female evil. We don't know how to process it. We don't know how to conceptualize it. I also wanted to say, in many ways, this is what I meant. I said a number of videos ago when I was talking about, the statistics that are often avoided about black men or misrepresented. I said one night I was on my Vapad shit. And Vapad, if you don't know, this speaks to my geeks. This has to do with the Star Wars series, and it has to do with Mace Windu, who's played by Samuel Jackson. And he was a Jedi. A Jedi master who invented his own form of combat. And what he would do is he would take the negative energy of his opponent and use it against him. But he wouldn't internalize their negative energy. So if this brother in this video had hauled off and attacked her or cussed her out or anything like that, that would have been him internalizing the negative energy that she produced. And ultimately, it would have worked against him. Again, he might have gone to jail. And if he didn't touch her, he still would have been looked at in the court of public opinion as being a deadbeat dad, right? If he kicked her out the house and she told the story, it would have just been he came home one day and kicked him out, right? But Vapad is what he actually engaged. He took her negative energy, used it against her, but he didn't internalize it. He let her know, you have a month, get out of my house, you and your daughter, right? Now, I'm sure that brother was probably heartbroken because it takes about 30 seconds to fall in love with a child. But at the end of the day, he still made a decision based on what was best for him and taking into account her abuse of his trust and his wallet. Because you could tell if she's talking about Dubai and necklaces, he's been taking care of her quite well. And she had no problem using it, right? But the other thing I think is interesting about this is it also shows the inability for a lot of people, most particularly women in contexts like this, to take responsibility for their actions. And part of the reason for this is that women haven't had to. If there's no punishment for false paternity, if there's no punishment for false rape or sexual assault claims, there is no incentive for women to have to internalize or at least come to grips with their own behavior. There's no social and public incentive, right, for there to be inner reflection. But men have to. There are consequences if we don't. So what's she talking? She's talking about, I know this is going to be a trip. I know this is going to be a necklace. Oh, I want this, I want that. And then when she's called out and she finally gets to the evidence, what's her response? Is it, I'm sorry? Is it, I shouldn't have done that and I manipulated you? Can we talk about it? No. The first thing she did was blame him. Why would you do it now? You have 3 years to do it, as if there's a time. I don't care if it took him 18 years. If he found out, he found out. And he shouldn't have had to find out if you womaned up and actually talked to him. But that's not on the table. So first she deflected by saying it was his fault for taking too long to come to her with the information. Then she was like, well, why would you do this on this day? Again, sidestepping the fact that she caused all of this by lying and cheating. No. So she tried to make the issue what day he brought it about. What day he brought it to her awareness that he knew, as if she didn't know. And even if she didn't know the child wasn't his, she damn sure knew she had sex with somebody else and that there was at least a question mark. But that never came up. She never owned her own actions. There was no accountability. And this is why my boy Sarah says, when you're dealing with women, dating, one of his major filter when trying to decide if he's going to date a woman is whether or not she blames. Meaning, does she know how to be accountable for her own actions? Or does she just deflect everything that goes on in her life and make it about other people? Right? That's precisely what this woman did. At no point in that did she take ownership of her own behavior. Now, I will say this last part. The brother was funny. You know, I can't imagine what this might have done to him, how he had to feel about it. Because I don't care what you say. You know, she's a lovely woman. I'm sure a 3-year-old child has got to be in that brother's heart. This couldn't have been easy for him. Now, he didn't put that on camera. And I'm sure after she's gone, he's still going to have to feel a certain way about it. But I will admit, he was hilarious. He was hilarious. She pulled out the bottle of champagne or whatever, and he said, "You're going to love it. It goes with the gift." After you watch it the first time, you watch it again, all of that becomes a lot more hilarious. You're going to need that alcohol because you're not going to be here long. And even the duct tape had me on the floor. Like, to me, I read that like, I'm out of regular tape and I ain't going to the store to get it. We're going to get this done right now. And so he grabbed whatever he could find. But just a few thoughts to go with this, because this kind of thing is said to be happening up just over 30% to men. Now, I came across that stat a few years ago, but shout out to my boy Emmanuel on Facebook. He looked it up again and provided a number of posts on my page. I may share some of those in the description box. But at the end of the day, if this is happening upward over 30% of men across race, then there's a lot of different scenarios that can be called to bear on these kind of situations. Meaning that they're happening far more frequently than people want to admit to, and that at some point, this needs to be called out. It needs to be called out as something that uniquely happens to men, because this is not something men can do to women. This is something women distinctly do to men, and nobody says a word. But black men are becoming pissed off at these practices that have been happening for generations, especially now that they can bring it to light more readily than they could in the past. Right? Black men are in a position to do this more readily, and they're starting to, because there's been no addressing of grievances, and these brothers have been experiencing this for generations, and they're tired of it. They are tired of it. So, anyway, I'll holla. Peace.